But as I told you, my social circumstances does not permit me to take the antenna, handheld antenna outside and operate from outside. So I had a limitation. I wanted to operate from within my shack. Then ideal setup for working from within your shack is again a full duplex radio. Along with that, there should be a base station if you are going to work from the shack, at least for beginning. You need a base station and a directional antenna which is pointing towards the direction of the satellite, and ideally you should have it moving automatically according to the Doppler correction using some software like gpredict, which will automatically rotate your antenna as well as tune your radio, provided your radio has facility for CAT control or computerized automatic transceiver control. I don't have any of these things. When I started LEO satellite operations, all I had was a CP22E antenna. And you will be aware, it is a very common antenna in this region, that CP22E antenna is just a VHF only antenna. It is not a dual band antenna and not meant for UHF operations. I had it over a one length of GI pipe, galvanized iron pipe, on my first floor terrace or balcony. So the total height from the ground for the antenna was just 6 plus 3, 9 meters from the ground. That is my CP22E antenna, my initial workhorse for working LEO satellites. So what I did was that I had a dual band radio, that is IC2730A. It is a dual band radio. I have been having it for a few months, but I did not know that it is a full duplex radio. Full duplex radio means a radio which can simultaneously receive as well as transmit. If you transmit on VHF, you can certainly listen simultaneously on UHF. That is what is needed for operating the LEO satellites. So I started listening on 437.800. So some of the signals of International Space Station repeater will be audible, especially when it is near overhead or near that. On a high elevation pass, I will be able to hear International Space Station with my vertical CP22E VHF antenna. How is that a VHF antenna is able to receive signals on UHF? It's quite simple. Amateur radio bands are mostly harmonics of each other. The UHF amateur radio band 437 region is actually the third harmonic of amateur radio VHF band, that is 145 region. So approximately, so what happens is that the CP22E antenna works on the third harmonic. You are aware that most antennas work very well or fairly well on third harmonic as well. For example, a 40-meter dipole, that is 7 megahertz dipole, will work fairly well with a fairly good standing wave ratio on 21 megahertz or 15 meter. That is common knowledge for any amateur radio operator. That is third harmonic. Same occurs in case of VHF CP22E antenna. Mind you, this is not the ideal setup of working satellites, but I didn't have anything else. So I started listening amateur radio on International Space Station with this antenna at about 9 meters from the ground. I started hearing stations. Then next step was Doppler correction. The radio was not compatible for CAT control. Theoretically, it is possible to have some cables and do something, some homebrewing and get CAT control. But first, I didn't have the technical know-how. Second, I didn't want to meddle with my rather new radio and end up with a problem on the radio. So what I did was I inquired with many friends in the LEO satellite repeater contact group. There were good Elmers on the group who told me that there is a website known as AMSAT, Argentinian website. Argentinian AMSAT website has a page for satellite passes which gives live values. When the satellite is above you, it will show you the direction of the pass as well as elevation of the satellite and what correction is needed for Doppler. That is, when satellites come on the horizon, it will show one value for both uplink and downlink. As the satellite approaches you, both values change simultaneously till the satellite sets. For example, in case of International Space Station, if it is 437.810 to begin with, when the satellite sets, the downlink will be 437.790 approximately. That is a span of 20 kilohertz. And uplink is different. Uplink, it will start the other way around. Instead of the 145.990, it will start with 145.985 and go up gradually. The span is only 10 kilohertz. It will go up to 145.995. So the change in frequency, Doppler change, is lesser for VHF and more for UHF.